I'm very glad to have a chance to talk about climate change governance in Japan, critical review on Japan's INDC and its energy policy. Okay. Next, today's my research questions mainly is what are the major characteristics of climate change policy of Japan? Central government has been very passive to take active measures like introducing an aggressive carbon tax. Today, Koichi already showed Japanese government carbon tax adopted in 2012, but the ratio is very small. So we need much more aggressive carbon tax and carbon pricing system. Japanese government relatively reluctant to promote renewable energy resources. And also in Japan, stressing the role of coal-fired plant and nuclear power plant, even now, is a very serious problem. Please next. And I'd like to say several focusing points. First, closed decision-making process and voluntary action plan by Japanese Keidan-ren and weak political leadership. Maybe a little bit some differences between Japanese situation and Korean situation. And the process of achieving the Kyoto target, estimation of the Kyoto Protocol, role of media, and influences of power of civil society. It was limited, I think. Next. Yeah. This is Japan's climate change target and result. Yeah. And this mid-October, new Prime Minister Suga declared net zero by 2050, but also Japanese situation, this is very tough target, and unfortunately, there is no concrete policy strategy to reach net zero by 2050. Next. Yeah. Last year at COP25, Japan's position for coal power plant was criticized. Yeah. Next. Yeah. UN and EU countries and NGOs criticized Japan's support for coal-fired power plant. Next. And 2019, last year, two big typhoons hit Japan, and other very severe flood happened so many times. So media and general citizens recently are realizing climate emergency situation. Next. Yeah, as you know, the Paris Agreement is very critical. Yeah. Next. Yeah. This is Japan and major countries' position on the Kyoto Protocol and the Paris Agreement. Okay. Yeah. Next. And yeah. Sun Jin, she is a leader of Kompon Korea, and me, I'm a leader of Kompon Japan, and we have Taiwanese colleague of Kompon Taiwan. Yeah, our international research team. Yeah, next. Yeah, so first problem is relatively closed governance. Uh, uh, Climate change governance should be based on participatory governance and the participation of multiple stakeholders, including NGOs. But I very skeptical we have the real meaning of such climate change governance. Okay. Yeah. Next. And in case of Japan, in economic sector, the voluntary action plan is working relatively well, led by a Japanese Keidan Ren. No legal background, no obligation of the commitment. NGO criticize this point, but in fact, it has been functioning relatively effective. Okay, and the secret is working is standing side by side within the same industrial sector. Yeah. Japanese society is very conforming society. Yeah. Not individualistic of among the economic sector. Yeah. This is one of the secret of working of such a Japanese system. Yeah. Next. And the problem is political leadership. Former Prime Minister Abe and current Prime Minister Suga, unfortunately, both are reluctant for taking very aggressive climate change policy. And most Japan's Minister of Environment going and out for almost only 1 year. And we would like to say they were non-professional, called amateur Minister of Environment, unfortunately. Next. Yeah. It was a very contrast with German Chancellor Merkel. Yeah, she has been a strong taking outstanding leadership in climate change politics, and she used to be the Minister of Environment at the Kyoto conference in 1997. Yeah. Next. Yeah. this is how Japan met the Kyoto target. So 2008 and 2009, the effect of Lehman shock and the 2011 3/11 disaster, both incidents made the Kyoto target met. Next. Yeah, Japan barely achieved the Kyoto target. So this is a excuse to take relatively reluctant position for Japanese Keidanren and Japanese conservative politicians of LDP, the ruling parties. Next. And okay, yeah. And the government and the economic sector is giving low estimation on the Kyoto Protocol. The reason is the Kyoto Protocol covers only 22% of the total GHG emissions. Next. Yeah. But UNFCCC highly estimate the role of the Kyoto Protocol. Yeah. You can look Japanese word oideyasu in Kyoto dialect. Okay. Next. Yeah. Next. So, as you can see, yeah, Germany and United Kingdom, the level of CO2 emission is decreasing, but Japan is relatively uprising. But after Lehman shock 2008, the ratio is dropped. Yeah. Next. And media. Recently, Japanese papers did not so eager to cover articles mentioning climate change or global warming. But in case of New York Times, recently the number of articles is uprising. Yeah. Next. Okay. Next. And the Japanese media are relatively very scarce coverage on activities of civil society. Yeah. Next. Okay. Yeah. Next. NGOs. It has still small supporters. Yeah. Next. Also in Japan, last year, younger generations participated global climate strike, but the number of the protestants are relatively small. Okay. Next. And recent situation. Okay. Yeah. I will. Yeah. Recent situations. Suga's pledge 2050 net zero emissions target. Yeah. Next. And the diets adopted as a resolution declaring climate emergency by all parties ruling parties and opposition parties. Yeah. Next. And such a net zero target by 2050 is also supported by such a local governments. Okay, next. But the problems still are, yeah. The most important issue is even now, the government will not revise its 2030 target upward. And government also will not decide to end all coal-fired power generation by 2030. And also the government will not introduce aggressive carbon tax and emissions trading system. And the government want to continue to keep and enlarge a nuclear power generation. Yeah. Next. Yeah, this is final slide. Yeah. This is my conclusion. Yeah. So these are reasons of Japanese government passiveness. So in contrast with Korean government, Japanese government did not declare to commit Japanese New Deal. Yeah, not yet. Okay, this is my presentation. Yeah, thank you very much.